Hello, everyone. Welcome back to installment number 2 of 3 this evening. We're over to the boxing now. Main event from London this weekend. Adam Azim, Sergey Lipinets go at it for the vacant IBO Super Lightweight Championship of the World, if you want to call it that. But we all know that this fight's been made for that reason, to parade Adam Azim round as a world champion. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. But we'll look at the matchup first of all. Azim getting a little bit more active. There's rumour he's going to be on this Eubank Ben card. I heard Montana Love turn the fight down at the 11th hour. That's why he's not going to be on the card. But look, Lipinets is tough. He had that great fight with Robbie Davis Jr. fairly recently, didn't he, on Pro Box? That was a war. I'm not too sure what he has left now. I think it's a 22-year-old Azim versus 35 or 36 Lipinets is now. He's had a solid career. He's fought who's who, to be fair to him. Look, I'm not too sure what he has left at this stage in his career. You're probably coming over for a decent payday, I would suggest. So, yeah. But how do you boys see it going down Wembley Arena?
Look, Lipinets, you just mentioned that Robbie Davis Jr. fight. He hasn't fought since then. So he had that fight in May, June time of last year, and he done nothing the second half of the year. So, yeah, look, that was a fire fight. That could have gone either way. It was, I think, 5 or 6 knockdowns in the fight. But at this point, when Lipinets has stepped up against Jaron Ennis, against Michael Riviera, etc., he's been exposed and lost. So it shows that, yes, he has ambition and he is a fringe world-level fighter, but I question where he's at now. I mean, IBO World Championship, world title, yeah, fantastic. The fact that even Azim's trainer, Shane McGuigan, has come out and said it doesn't mean anything, it just puts us in an even better position with the 4 main governing bodies. I'm sure Ben Shalom told him not to say that at the press conference this week, but McGuigan's come out and said it, which is fantastic, because what you don't want to happen is you pick up an IBO world title and then you end up with a young fighter having an overinflated opinion of themselves, thinking that they're a world beater and a world champion.
Eubank Jr.
If Team Azim is seeing this
Let's say that out loud.
Do you know what? There was sorry, Lynn. There's a timer going off in my head until I'd had to catch myself on before I was going to mention it. To be fair,
one of us had to say it.
I was like, look, yeah, someone else will cover it. But yeah, there we go.
If Team Azim are using this as a stepping stone, right, I'm seeing it for what it is, and that's fantastic. Because again, the IBO world title is more of a leveraging bargaining tool, isn't it, than anything else? Maxi Hughes managed to get himself a fight against Kambosos Jr. off the back of being an IBO world champion, which he wouldn't have got without that belt. It's a fantastic leveraging tool, and that's what they're going to use it for. But if we were honest, would I if you told me the 2 options for Azim at the start of this year were what we're getting on Saturday night or him getting on the Spurs cards in another 7 weeks' time, I think I'd lean towards the Spurs card over this.
100%.
If he beats Lipinets 3 months after beating O'Hara Davis, then yeah, it will look good on his resume. Then he goes into Ramadan, so we're not going to see him in September again at the earliest. I just think it's fantastic that they're taking these steps up with him, but I think when you've got a fighter that 10 weeks of the year minimum is gone because of their religious beliefs and what they do for themselves, putting them out so early in the start of the year, by the time you see them again, you absolutely stone dead kill all their momentum.
Yeah.
I understand from a boxer point of view as well. They don't have a lot of shining lights, so they needed Adam Azim out at the start of the year. I mean, for Sky, are probably thanking Ben Shalom that he's done this, but it kills a lot of the momentum. And they're talking about, making the Dalton Smith fight or looking towards a final eliminator for a world title, which again, an IBO belt puts you in a position to be able to have. But if he goes February and we don't see him until October, it's a momentum killer, isn't it? You'd rather see him in April than you see him at the end of September, and it doesn't feel like such a long gap. Adam Azim is a very exciting talent, one of the best British prospects we've got, undeniably. You can't dispute that. 22 years old, whole career ahead of him, but want to see a bit more progression. Lipinets is good for where he's at the moment, but if you're not going to take the Dalton Smith fight, which I don't think he's going to, then what are you going to do with him? Because you could easily see him in a position where he sits on being an IBO world champion, which wouldn't do him any good, would it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, as respectfully disrespectful as I can be, I'm not asked about the Lipinets fight. It does absolutely nothing for Azim, really, other than he gets the IBO. He gets the prestige of winning a fringe world title or and not so recognised, not one of the big four, right? and he gets to showcase his skill set. Let's be honest, this guy lost against Mikey Garcia in 2018. Mikey Garcia is a career featherweight, and he was easily outboxed. You know, he's decent. You know, he's fringe world level. As Liam said, every time he's had that step up, Jaron Ennis got him out of there. Riviera beat him. Riviera's not all that. Jaron Ennis, we know, is, you know, being lauded as one of the best of the next crop of up and coming stars. It's 2 stop-start for me. I know Azim's only 22. I feel that and I hear that. But the screaming and shouting about how good he is and telling us how great he's going to be, and then, as Liam said, he's having a non-event fight, and then we're not going to see him again for God knows how long. Dalton Smith fight's probably not going to happen this year. Dalton Smith has already said he wants to turn the WBC silver into WBC gold, so he wants to fight the winner of that fight. Mauricio Suleiman has already tagged him in a post today. They've had a back and forth, scratching each other's back about, you know, so we know what direction that fight's going to go in. I think the fact that Team Azim have pissed Team Smith about a little bit. I think if Smith goes on and wins this WBC title, I think he's going to play hardball then and say, listen, I'm past you now. You need to go win a belt yourself. He's not going to want to fight him for the IBO because it does nothing for Dalton. Dalton brings everything to the table then. So for me, I would have rather seen Azim not fight. And I know that sounds stupid, but he's taking a risk. If he lost on Saturday night, can you imagine how far back that would put him? Especially then going into Ramadan, and we've got to wait to the back quarter of the year for him to come through the other side. It's a lot of risk for very little reward.
I agree, Jay. Like, if Lipinets isn't, you know, massively over the hill, I'm not saying he's shot. He's only been stopped by Boots Ennis, and that was up at 147. If he's not, it could be a bad move here by Boxer. They've taken a calculated risk because they want this IBO belt, and I do get that. I think Adam Azim's not going to have it all his own way, boys.
Lipinets comes in low, and he could catch him with his head, cut his eye. You know, anything could happen. I
think it's a tougher night's work than it's being given credit for. Honestly, I do.
Look, let's not be all doom and gloom. Let's be like, we've all heard the rumours that there's still one fight to be announced for this Spurs card, which apparently that slot is Adam Azim's. So, with, you know, if he comes through handily, without any cuts, without any injuries on Saturday night, then we will get to see him again, hopefully in April, just before he goes into his self-sabbatical, shall we say, for Ramadan, which would be a positive. It would be the most active we've seen him since.
Against who, though?
Well, that would be.
It'll be another fight.
Listen to this. Montana Love turned the fight down, and he turned down Sean McComb, and he turned down Pierce O'Leary for the Spurs card. Azim turned down O'Leary and Sean McComb.
My question there would be, I mean, you said Azim turned them down, is it Sean telling him?
Azim turned them down.
Look, he's almost his own success and the fact he's already been a European champion, etc., and he's only 22, is almost coming back to bite him on the arse. By that, he's a 22-year-old now that isn't having the normal career progression. We all expect him to be taking massive steps. You think about it, O'Hara Davis was the last fight in October. Are you telling me that Lipinets is a step up from O'Hara Davis? For me, I'd say O'Hara Davis on his day could possibly even be better than Lipinets. So could we say this is a step down? Okay, it's for the IBO world title, so there's more prestige on it, but I wouldn't say they've made a massive jump in opponent, have they? It's great to see him out, but you're not making the moves that you talk about him making. You know, Dalton Smith. Yes, okay, we've seen the photos of the injury, so we know he was injured. We know he had surgery. That's why the Harlem Eubank fight, etc., didn't happen. But if you're Ben Shalom and Boxer, you've now got a reputation of messing around Harlem Eubank and not allowing that fight to happen after you get them to face off in the ring, telling us we're going to see that fight soon, but then never doing anything. Harlem went into 4 training camps last year. 3 of them were for Azim, and he ended up with that horrendous 8-rounder we watched on Channel 5. And now with Dalton Smith, look, Ben's done all this talking. Shane McGuigan's come out and said we want the Dalton Smith fight, but something there just isn't pulling because you've now got no reason to not make boxer and matchroom fights. We've seen them happen. So you don't have that narrative of we don't work together anymore. So what is it in Adam Azim's career? Is Ben Shalom absolutely cacking himself that what you can see as being his cash cow for the next 3 or 4 years could be derailed if he runs into the wrong guy too soon? Is that why we're seeing such a safety first approach, but still giving some sort of name value in terms of O'Hara Davis, ex-world champion, title challenges, Sergey Lipinets the same? Is that why we're only seeing those names without too big a jump, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'll kick in with the predictions, boys. I think Adam Azim will win the fight on Saturday. I think he wins it on points, so I think it'll go all the way. I think Lipinets is tough. I don't think Azim hits as hard as maybe he gets credit for either. I don't think he's a massive puncher. We saw this as he was down the levels a little bit when he won the European belt and a few of the other fights. O'Hara, he got rid of O'Hara, fair enough. But, let's remember O'Hara was iced in a round by Ishmael Barroso, 42-year-old Ishmael Barroso at that, before, he had one foot out the door, didn't he, O'Hara last time out. I think he might face a little bit of adversity. It probably ties into what Ryan said here. Thanks again for joining us, Ryan. Mikey Garcia went on record to say Lipinets hits harder than Spence. Lipinets can bang. He's got what, 40.
Mikey Garcia also went on record and said the earth's flat.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia, to be fair, he's not got the best track record of. But he's been in the ring with both of them, so at the end of the day, he's very qualified to give an opinion there. But yeah, for me, boys, I think he wins an 8-4 kind of fight. I think Lipinets will have some moments in it, and I hope we see Azim tested. There's no point. My only issue with Azim, and one of you were talking about it a minute ago, is they were happy enough to parade around as European champion at 20, 21 years old and this, that, and the other. You can't then go, fight backwards at 22, 23, 24. Once you're happy enough to take the fight for the Euro belt against somebody who he was never going to lose that fight, was he? You can't then, go once you're at that level, you're at that level.
And, he's over 18, he's over 21. He's
Moses Town was looking to be a heavyweight champion at the 2021.
He's a bloke. The blokes, once they're over 18, I know this, man strength, and he's 22. He's not 20, 19. He's 22.
Devin Haney, all these people were world champions.
World champions at 22, 23.
They had a promoter that believed in them. Sorry, mate. They had a promoter that believed in them. There's something there that tells me Ben Shalom doesn't quite believe fully in Adam Azim yet.
I think he knows the truth. I think he knows the truth, Liam. I think he knows what goes on in camp. I think, as Sam said, I don't think he hits. He's not a thunderous puncher. No. He's an accumulative puncher that hits. He bedazzles people. He overwhelms them with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 punch combinations and just blitzes them. I think if Lipinets can get past that, which he should have enough about him too, and take most of them on the gloves. Let's see what Azim's like when he gets one stuck straight on his chin by someone that can bang. Yeah. We'll see if the kid can fight properly. It's all been, being a good boxer gets you so far, but at some point you've got to fight. You've got to bite down on your gum shield and be able to fight. I see him coming through a tough night myself. I was going to pick Lipinets for the win, the upset. I think age is going to play a major factor in that. I think he'll slow down as the rounds go on. And I think we will see, like you said, Sam, I think we'll see Azim come through some adversity or some tough patches throughout the fight. And I see him grinding out a 7-5, 8-4, something like that. I think he'll get a unanimous decision, but I think it'll be a lot tougher than people expect. Incoming 2-round blowout, but I'll go for 7-5, Azim, unanimous decision.
See, I understand where you're both coming from, and I can completely hear the argument. But where I'm at is we haven't seen Lipinets since the first half of last year. He was already, that fight with Robbie Davis Jr. was harder work than it should have been from him, bearing in mind Robbie Davis Jr.'s game plan was just to wing punches in and hope he could stay on his feet for long enough. That was kind of how, in Robbie's own admission, that's what the game plan was for that fight. He only had a 4-week training camp. I believe this is going to be another blowout for Adam Azim. I don't necessarily think it will be
early night.
How hard he hit. He's not a huge puncher. It's cumulative. It's volume. Like you say, he dazzles and bamboozles opponents, and it's the volume of punches that cause them issues. Lipinets is on his way down the hill. Adam Azim is rising up. I think Adam Azim inside 4 rounds.
Interesting. Right, then we got me and Jay have gone for a decision for Adam Azim in a tough enough fight. Liam has gone for Azim to take care of business. So it'll be interesting. Pablo B's in the house just before we wrap up. Hope you're well, Pablo. Azim's well-educated jab fast as a footwork going to be the key to a win by unanimous decision. Yeah, look, I can see your side of the argument as well, Liam, and I can see why me and Jay have made the picks as well. But, if Azim is this world beater that we're told he is, like one of you referred to earlier, then he should really probably be dealing with a 35-year-old Lipinets in the way that Liam's just spoke about. But we'll be here for it. We'll be watching it anyway. Anyone that wants to join us for it on Saturday night, Azim versus Lipinets for the vacant IBO Super Lightweight Championship. Thanks to Jay and Liam, as always, for joining me. Pablo, Ryan, and anyone else who's joined us. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back very shortly in a couple of minutes for David Benavidez and David Morrell. For me, the best fight yet this year. This is going to be an absolutely cracker. Cheers.